So in this video, we're going to talk about how to find the polynomial function if you're given zeros. So say you're given the zeros, which are, say you have -1, 2, and 4. So say these are the zeros, and you want to find the equation of that polynomial function. So we know by factors theorem that if c is a 0, then x plus c is a factor. So by knowing that, so it's a factor. So by knowing that, we can say, okay, if -1 is a 0, that means x plus 1 is a factor of that polynomial. And if 2 is a 0, then x minus 2 is also a factor. And then the last one, 4 is a 0, so that means x minus 4 is a factor. So let's call that's the polynomial function. Now, of course, you want to go ahead and just multiply everything out to write out the polynomial function in a better form. So let's go ahead and multiply. So I can go ahead and multiply these two first. So you'll have x squared minus 2x plus x, that will be minus x minus 2. And then I can multiply this with my last factor, which is x minus 4. So now by distributing the last term out, we're going to get our polynomial to be x cubed. So I'm distributing x to every single term in the first parentheses, minus x squared minus 2x. And now we go ahead and distribute -4. That will give us minus 4x squared. And then plus 4x and plus 8. And then by combining like terms, we have our polynomial function, which is x cubed. Well, these are like terms, so that will be minus 5x squared. These are like terms, that will be plus 2x plus 8. That's the polynomial function we're looking at if those were these zeros. And then you can play around with this if you want to modify one of the coefficient or change it to a different constant term. We can all do that. Let's go ahead and try another example, and we'll add in more conditions to it. So say you want to find the equation of the polynomial function that has zeros, 0, 1, and -5. And we also want the coefficient of, let's say, coefficient of x term to be, so let's say -10. So we want the polynomial to have zeros, 0, 1, and -5, and the coefficient of x term to be -10. So let's go ahead and do that. So again, by factors theorem, we know that if 0 is a factor, then of course x minus 0 is a factor. So that's 1. We can just say x for the 0, 0. And then 1 is a 0, so we know x minus 1 is a factor. -5 is a 0, so we know x plus 5 is a factor. So that's the polynomial we have. Now I can go ahead and expand this. So I'm going to leave the x alone and then distribute the last two terms. We get x squared plus 4x minus 5. And then distribute the last term. We have p is equal to x cubed plus 4x square, and then minus 5x. That's the polynomial function satisfying these zeros. But now the second condition is to modify the coefficient of x term to be -10. So how do I make this -10? So we want to make this a -10. So that means we get another polynomial, just modifying the coefficients. So I'm going to go ahead and multiply the polynomial by 2, because that will give me -10. So let's go ahead and do that. So that means we can call p to be another polynomial, q of x. Then we have 2x cubed plus 8x squared minus 10x. So there you go, that's your polynomial satisfying both conditions, zeros and the specific coefficient we want. Okay, so I hope this makes sense.